Before we get into this week's episode of the Organic Mindset Podcast, I wanted to take a quick second to make a huge announcement. My very own self-published adult coloring book is now available for purchase on Amazon.com. Welcome back to another episode of the Organic Mindset Podcast. This is episode 18. I repeat, this is episode 18. And as you can see to my right, I have a returning guest. I mean, you wouldn't know because she was on here real early on, so you never got to see the face. So how you know she returning unless I tell you? But tell the people about yourself.
Hello, everybody. My name is Crystal Laysar Brown. I am a premier Texas realtor based right here in Austin, Texas.
All right. Well, I feel like, based off you saying that, the people going to know who you are. If they have been tuned in, they're going to definitely kind of tap in. That was my one of my favorite episodes for the longest until I had when I did my own. Then when I did my own, I was like, sheesh, that ball was on there dropping something,
It was a good episode. I watched it. Yeah, it was good.
A little decent. So you got anything, you want to say before we get started? Or?
No, I'm happy to be here and look forward to the conversation.
Okay. So first thing first, with you being a realtor and stuff like that, and it's crazy, because I feel like, a lot of times people don't really realize like the time gap. I mean, obviously, doing this like week to week, I kind of realize I'm like, dang, it's week 18 now. So initially, I want to say like you got on here maybe week two or week three, like real early on. What advice would you kind of like offer somebody that was looking into, purchase a home, or just kind of like some kind of like handy tips that you would kind of give to people?
I would say if someone's looking to purchase a home, right now is the time to purchase. There's a lot of activity going on in the market right now. Interest rates are going up. Demand is increasing. The market report that came out last week showed a significant increase in new mortgage applications, meaning more people are applying for mortgages, meaning there are going to be more people shopping for mortgages. And then with the interest rates going up, more people are going to be trying to lock in their loan and go ahead and find a home. So, it's going to create a bigger demand for the supply as you have more people shopping, higher interest rates and all of those things. So if someone's looking to buy, now's the time to do it. The first step would be to contact a realtor like myself.
Yeah.
And I will hook you up with a lender, connect you with a lender that will help you get financing. I have a lot of lenders that I work with. They will help clients that need credit repair, down payment assistance, a lot of those additional services.
Okay, so now that you mentioned that, as far as like somebody kind of going into the process for the first time, what are some tips you can kind of offer as far as like you said, credit repair, just as far as like down payment assistance and things of that nature, like, what would you tell them to go check out besides, of course, coming directly to you? Like some things that they could do, I guess, independently.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. So the first thing I would recommend, especially if we're talking about first-time home buyers, taking a look at your credit score. You can go to freeannualcreditscore.com, get all 3 of your credit reports for free. Kind of look through that, make sure the information is correct. If you see things that are outdated or things that are incorrect, you need to dispute those things. And then if there are credit inquiries that are more than 2 years old, you need to dispute those and get those dropped off. Those are some of the minor things that you can do on your own.
Yeah. And I feel like a lot of times, with the disputes and stuff like that, people kind of like are against it, or they just not even, aware fully of them having the ability to dispute it. They just kind of like let it sit on there and just kind of hope time would be, on they best, I guess kind of like be in their favor in a sense, where they just be like, okay, well, it's been, 6 years, this, that, and other, when in reality, they could have, disputed it and had it removed completely where it's not even, on there. But I guess in addition to that, like, what are, I guess, like, as far as some of the loans and stuff like that, what are some of the loans that they could possibly qualify? And, if you don't mind giving like a little insight on which, what is what.
Oh, sure. So there are numerous loan options. Some of the primary loans are FHA, which is through the Federal Housing Administration. There are VA loans for veterans. USDA loans if you're looking in a rural area. There are conventional loans, jumbo loans, so numerous loans. But generally speaking, when we're talking about first-time home buyers, we're usually looking at like a FHA if they're not prior military, FHA or conventional loan. Conventional loan usually requires sometimes a higher credit score and a little bit more money down. With the FHA loan, you can get an FHA loan with as little as 3% down, and then there's also that down payment assistance program too.
Okay.
Sometimes I just want to mention this. Sometimes I think folks think that they can't buy a home. They don't even try. Don't even put the effort for it. And I think it's one of the being a homeowner is it's just got a lot of benefits, tax benefits. Homes appreciate in value. You get equity in your home. I think everybody should at least try and see if they can get approved for a home loan. And then I also have a lease purchase program too. Just wanted to.
Yeah. So, since you mentioned the appreciation aspect, would you feel comfortable, kind of speaking on your situation that you recently made a video on as far as, the appreciation situation?
Oh, yeah. So right now, especially in the Metro Austin area, homes are, appreciating very quickly in value. I recently worked with a client in Georgetown, and the client was considering selling her home. And before she even put the home on the market, she had gotten a cash offer for $750,000. And the purchase price for the home initially was $427,000, and that was back in 2020. So now, not even 2 years later, the home is, and I'm sure if we would put it on the market and sell it, we'd probably get well over $800,000 for it.
So do you feel like, with the appreciation aspect in, I guess, that particular example, do you feel like it was a kind of like timing thing, like they, just kind of caught the market early, or was it just kind of like, due diligence or whatever? We looking at this area, we see like a lot of, like growth within the area. So it'll be, that was the reason they kind of made that choice.
Well, I think part of the reason they made the choice was the location, nice location. It was a house that they loved. At the time, I don't think they were really thinking about the appreciation.
Yeah.
Just wanted a home that they love. And, this is the added bonus.
Yeah, most definitely. So the next thing I kind of wanted to ask you about was just any challenges you had pretty much been faced with as far as like your specific role, whether that be, like life, professional aspect, just kind of, since we talked last time, just different kind of challenges that have kind of rose, and also kind of how you plan to overcome them, or how you have, previously overcame them.
I'm usually one that will stare a challenge right in the face and, kind of determine the best way forward to overcome that challenge. I haven't had any major challenges lately or since we last spoke. One minor challenge is time, right? We all could use more time, could have more time. Time would just allow us to do more things. So one way that I've mitigated that, I've sponsored another agent.
Yeah.
And it's like I can't be in two places at one time. So if there's somewhere that I can't be, I can rely on that other agent to help me out and take some of those appointments.
Yeah. And I mean, you actually kind of jumped ahead. I mean, I know it was unintentional, especially not knowing exactly what I was going to say. But that was kind of going to be one of the things I was going to ask you as far as, just personal tips as far as time management and stuff like that. Or even just, kind of like utilizing what you do have. Because I feel like, we always do say that like we don't have time. But if I go back and like fully analyze my 24 hours, like disregarding sleep and stuff like that, I'm like, okay, I was on my phone this period of time, like whether it be conversation, text, social media, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I feel like, in retrospect, we do have more time than we realize. It's just kind of the way we utilize it. Then when we kind of want to last minute do stuff before we go to sleep, or when we want to do it, it's like, dang, I wish I had more time.
You're right. We do have more time than we sometimes realize. As far as time management, that is something that I work on probably on a regular basis. I'll make a mental note to myself that, tomorrow I'm going to utilize my time better. Meaning when I get up in the morning, if I have priority tasks that I need to do, I try to knock those out first thing in the morning. And as far as just trying to have a better schedule, right? Planning ahead, and then just being able to outsource some of the things that I'm not going to say that I don't want to do.
Pretty much. I mean, but I feel like, like we talked about the other day, just off the show, it's like, once you get to a certain point or whatever, and you feel like, you kind of are somewhat overwhelmed. It's kind of like when you do have to do things like that, or just find different ways. And kind of how we talked about, I think it was like last night, pretty much just saying like how we always like, repetitiveness, like constantly doing something like, I'm always like editing the podcast. I'm like every week, literally, I'm finding something new that I could do to cut, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, this, that, and the other. Because at first, when I first started off, it seemed like when I was just doing the audio, I was actually doing more work because I was using like four different systems or whatever, had multiple subscriptions and stuff. Now it's kind of like I had, this format, so I'm able to kind of, like just utilizing it. Like I said, majority of it was as like self-taught as far as the aspect of, I guess, navigating through the little small tools. But in addition, use YouTube, of course.
Right. That's always a good resource. But yeah, I think that's true. Like the more you do something, the better you get at it and the more efficient you become at it. One of the things that I do like in my daily work life and my daily real estate business, I'm good about organizing electronic files. And then I create, and I guess this kind of speaks to the question that you asked, I create templates for everything that I do. Like I got a system that's organized. I actually have an organized system. I even have a template that I use for reoccurring emails. I know, I'm going to send a particular email to inquire about land.
Yeah.
I have a saved template and I just go back and I plug in the address or the listing number and then I'll send that to the listing agent. But it's already there. It's already created. I just have to add the listing number and the address for that property I'm looking at.
Yeah, templates, definitely do make stuff more effective. I mean, obviously, because, we were just talking about just the kind of setup or whatever, just kind of being able to kind of just get up and go. But I was actually thinking about that at work today. I was like, because the way that I kind of label my files is like, it's hundreds of files. I would even say, go as far as saying thousands of files that we look at. So with these files, it's kind of like, oh, before I say that though, you want to show the people your cup. I see you picked it up real quick.
Oh, yes. Everything I touch turns to soul.
Okay, yeah. Definitely wanted to point that out. So, yeah, like pretty much, like I said, I definitely think that we touch, at least 1,000 files or whatever. And kind of the way that I label stuff is, I organize it by the location that we go to. And at this point, it's really like, it's still in like the 20s or 30s. So it's not significant, but just the files within, and then additional things we're looking at outside of, actually looking at the location we go to. It's like, you're having to do training things. So you're still having to save them. And some of it just can't naturally fit in this one generic training folder because, you might have to refer back to it. It's a lot of side assignments. So I'm like, man, I definitely need to get on here one day, probably off of work, because I feel like if I do it, during work, this is something that could probably take at least an hour, maybe an hour and a half. Like if I just consistently sit down and do it, I'm like, I definitely need to kind of get more organized with that. But as far as my personal computer, I'm, like so organized and I kind of have everything in a certain spot. But
it helps. Electronic files help because, like trying to keep paper copies of everything that just are paper notes, it just don't work.
Thing of the past. I mean, and I'm still big about writing stuff down, like, hence, like I said, I have, notebooks. I still use, my planner like on a daily basis. And I kind of talked about that just as far as helping me stay organized. Like I kind of get in there the night before I go to sleep and I kind of write down like what I need to do for the next day. And I try to be realistic with myself and as specific as possible because I feel like if I just jot down a bunch of stuff, I won't do it. And not necessarily saying I'll be disappointed in myself, but I'll be like, dang, why wasn't I just specific and just wrote down strictly what I needed to do priority level wise, but I also do like structure about time. Like, so I put my stuff into like hour increments, but I heard some people like as far as like successful people, they cut their stuff down like 15-minute increments. Like they really busy like that. But me, I'm like certain stuff is just like you can't fluctuate like work. I already know I'm gonna be at work from such time, such time. So it's like I don't even try to plan anything in between that. But as far as my time, I try to be realistic with myself and try to give myself like time to eat, do other stuff too. But as long as I knock out them things, I'm, at the end of the night, I'm happy.
Yeah. I think it's important too, like, I do believe in like having a schedule, but I'm the type that occasionally I like to have a day or two where I'm not on a schedule, where I do whatever I want to do or nothing at all.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's not often, but here and there I like to do that just to, I guess, give myself a break.
Like I consider my weekends to be, a little bit more loose based, and it's crazy because on the weekends I still, don't get so comfortable as to why I don't write stuff down, but it might not get done as soon as it would have compared to work days, because if I had that time, in the morning time or something like that, I'm like, okay, well let me go ahead, hurry up and do this, and in reality, I feel like it's like the mind is, such a crazy thing. It's like we might think that we need to do something, we like, oh, this is gonna be so time consuming. If you just really sit down and do it 5 minutes, like call somebody, go make this call so you could, go take this to the post office, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Like quick stuff, but we just put it off for so long and it's just like, additional baggage. And you're going to want to add new things that you want to do to your, goals or priorities, or however you want to consider it. So, yeah.
So I want to ask you a question. We talked about real estate a little bit. So what do you think about like home buying, or when is a good time to buy a home, or
So like we pretty much had talked about, like I said, of course, the first time speaking on it on here. So with me, kind of like staying in an apartment and stuff like that, I feel like it was a real eye opener, and I feel like, it was a necessary process for me. I mean, I know some people that, pretty much just kind of like go from, I guess you would say, their parents' house to, to their own personal house, which is fine. But I feel like for me, it was like, it was kind of meant for me to kind of go through the process that I did so I could see, okay, I never want to stay in an apartment again. Just because it's like, if you really sit there and think about it, you could break everything down. If you're talking about money, you could break everything down into like hours. So it's like, okay, my rent is costing me such and such amount of hours of my, of my time. Like, and that's a bill that's, just like it's a recurring bill. It's just like your phone bill or anything else you pay on a monthly basis, your car note, car insurance, this, that, and the other. And it's kind of like, it's different from a car note because granted, your car note, it's recurring, but eventually, that's going to get paid off.
right?
It's depreciating, but it's going to be paid off,
And you'll own it at some point, right?
So with the apartments, you're never going to own it. And people don't look at it from this aspect, I feel as it's just a bigger piece of property. Like, like you look at a house or whatever, an apartment is kind of the same situation. These people paying a mortgage on it. Well, not these people. You paying their mortgage for them.
Paying somebody else's mortgage.
Yeah, you paying their mortgage for them to pretty much own the property outright. And once they own the property outright, the money that was getting paid towards mortgage is just a straight profit for them. So that's kind of what opened my eyes up and just really had made me, decide like for my next move, it's definitely going to be like a duplex, and then, eventually work my way up. Well, I wouldn't even say a duplex, just necessarily a multi-family home, because I'm really looking to go big, like I told you. So, eventually work my way up to an apartment, and then, like I just said, pretty much get to that point where I get the mortgage paid off, of course, by the tenants, and then once that's, that's just passive income, in addition to everything else I got going on.
That's good. And so I mean, just to be clear, we didn't even talk about this before, before the show. But that's a plug. I mean, that's what I tell people all the time.
You said that's a what?
That's a plug. That's a plug for me. But so that's what I tell people all the time. Though, like when you rent, you paying somebody else's mortgage.
Yeah.
I mean, it'll never be yours, and you'll pay rent as long as you live. I mean, as long as you need somewhere to live, you'll be paying rent. If you buy a house or buy a townhouse, condo, or apartment or whatever, at some point you'll own it. It'll be yours. And then you can also leave that to your kids or, family members. I just think, just even looking back over the years, like, and back in the day, my rent was smaller than rent is now. But like, just calculating that, I'm like, that's just, I don't know. I feel like it's just giving money to somebody else, paying for somebody else's property.
Yeah, and I want to make a quick example real quick. So let me pull out my little calculator, you know what I'm saying? Take a little intermission, pull out my calculator. And it's just to show, really just kind of like the numbers behind it. So I even go, I guess you would say like low ball to mid. And it all depends on your area, of course. So I would say $1,000 for rent per month. And that's, like I say, in my opinion, I paid more. So, of course, you already know you do that times 12. So that's your 1 year. You're already paying 12,000. So I would say looking at an average mortgage, you're doing that for 30 years. That's $360,000. Cut that in half. That's 180. So if you're looking at the 15, it's like for 15 years, if you sit there and stay in this apartment, you paying 180,000. If you're doing it the term of, like I say, I feel like the more common, mortgage or whatever, for 30 years, you paying $360,000. That's well more than enough to honestly be able to go and purchase a cash property.
So I did the math and I put it on my my Instagram page. If you pay, because a lot of people rent houses too, or high end apartments, condos, or whatever. So I want to say $2,000 a month for 30 years.
Yeah.
And at $720,000, and that just blew my mind just sitting there doing the math. I'm like, 720,000. And rent is not gonna stay the same. Rent is not gonna be level. So if you're paying $2,000 now, it's gonna increase, and it's gonna be more than that $720,000 that I calculated. So,
yeah. So let me ask you this: outside of the numbers, like outside of the price, well, I guess price is somewhat to consider, but it wasn't the primary focus. How do you feel about condos and townhouses as far as the aspect of? Because I feel like majority of people get them for the same reason. They don't want to, kind of have some of the same responsibilities as far as like owning a house.
Yeah. There are a lot of people, purchase condos, townhouses. I think they're just as nice. It's just a personal preference, right? Sometimes with a condo, townhouse, you don't have like yard maintenance. Sometimes with a townhouse you may, but usually with a condo, you don't have the yard maintenance, and then you have like shared common areas. Sometimes you'll have a condo that have like a gym facility, clubhouse, swimming pool, sort of like some of the homes that are in homeowners associations. So usually that's just a preference. If, sometimes you'll find folks that just don't want to deal with the maintenance of having an individual or single family residence. And
that's what I was about to say. That's what I was kind of like swaying towards as far as that being the primary purpose. I feel like people do it. And I actually have seen, of course, mainly on videos and stuff like that, some very nice, like high rise apartments, condos, and things of that nature. But it's just kind of like, like you said, that ownership is kind of like you could pretty much own it. So
yeah, if you're paying to rent it, you can own it. Yeah. I saw a very nice condo here in Georgetown to one of my investor clients. She bought it as an investment, new condo, real nice property. And she came into the deal making money because the property was only built for, I want to say about 6 months before she purchased it. But when she purchased it, there was already a tenant in the property and everything. So it was a really good deal.
So I want to give you a number on this one. So if you had to say your top, because I don't want to make it too hard either. If you had to say your top 3 to 5 tips for someone, like looking to invest, like if they were to come to you today and be like, okay, I want to invest. And I'm really giving you a lot of room because I could even think of, a couple of things.
So, there's several investment options. For me, my focus right now is like real estate investing. That's like my number one.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I mean. So if I'm coming to you I should have specified on that. Okay. If I'm coming to you as a real estate investor, what are like 5 tips you kind of telling me?
So if you have, if you have the funds or if you have the means, I would say like multifamily property. And if not, single family residence. Hopefully we can find a property that already has a tenant in it unless you're looking for like a new construction. And then even land is a very good investment because, land prices are rising now. You can buy it now and sell it in a couple of months, even that quick, and make a really good profit off of it. Or you can hold it.
And we're looking at 5 digits with this good profit.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
There you have it.
Yeah.
There you have it. And I actually follow like a guy on Instagram. And it's crazy once I tell you, you know the story already, but you're going to kind of just be joked at. So I think his name, I'm not sure if it's, I think it's the FI guy. And pretty much, he was kind of the guy I was telling you about that was like getting he was getting like the single family homes. Of course, it was like bigger single family. of course, it was bigger single family homes, but he was kind of, like pretty much house hacking it like to a T. Like it was like a, of course, like a 2-story. So with the upstairs, I forgot the exact order. You so joked out at that. I forgot the exact order. I forgot the exact order, but I want to say he was like renting out the upstairs. He was staying downstairs, and he had pretty much split it in two. He pretty much had split it in two, and he was Airbnb one side out, and he was kind of sleeping like behind one of those Japanese
partition.
Yeah, and he had a real good point. He was just kind of like, it's pretty much just delayed gratification. He was like, if you want something so bad, you would pretty much put off your comfort. And a lot of people have different thresholds or whatever. Because me personally, if I had somebody live with me long term, I would say, honestly, I'm fine with house hacking, and honestly, that's like the primary goal or whatever. But I feel like I'm already sacrificing enough in my means, in my opinion, as far as having a duplex, quadplex, a triplex, or anything of that nature. Because it's kind of like only thing that's splitting us up is a wall, and it's easy, to do like a background check and all this other stuff, but as far as actually knowing, the cleanliness of this person, you having that person upstairs and downstairs ain't that big of a, difference, especially if you're living in a, 4-bedroom, 5-bedroom.
So you mean to tell me you wouldn't do the house hack where you use this partition right here and split your living room off?
Come on now. And, Airbnb, like, once I really kind of got on there exploring, to me now, Airbnb is a good investment or a good thing for, investors. But as far as, people going to go look to stay places, it kind of has got watered down, and it kind of has changed, in my opinion, based off the areas I have looked at, which, most commonly have been like different parts of Texas. The main parts of Texas, I would say, like Houston, Austin, Dallas, Baton Rouge, of course. Like, to me, when I had, kind of explored the app a couple of years ago, I feel like it was like way more options, as far as like having your entire place, like to be able to, stay however long you want to stay. Now, and for a reasonable price, that's the biggest point I'm making. So now it's kind of like these prices are, higher. I was gonna say equivalent, but on the majority end, I would say higher than, a hotel stay. Average hotel stay is like $100, per night. And I'm talking about staying in, like a nice hotel, like Marriott, Hilton,
Well, you talking government discount too.
No, I mean just regular.
Really?
Yes. If you, if you book like early, which is, in a few weeks in advance.
And then that's like booking through a third party website.
Either that or, having that membership. And it's not because of my status, because just, you can have like, you get the Marriott discount just from being a member, you can be, I think a bronze or whatever. So, quick, FYI, definitely go, sign up to them or whatever, and just make sure you kind of, whenever you stand, I really start taking advantage of that too, even with food. So I'm getting all these apps whenever I'm going to go get some pickup orders or whatever. Like Chipotle, I told you I had got some, some nice stuff from Chipotle just because the order's so high. So definitely, take advantage of like them reward programs and stuff like that, because it's free stuff. At the end of the day, you're going to pay for it anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
And quick side note on that too, you want to tell the people real quick. I talked about Get Upside before, but you want to tell them like, your POV on it.
Oh, so I'm a person that's not big on using like coupons and stuff like that. Not because I don't want to use the coupon. I'll save the coupon and leave it at home, or take it out of the newspaper and not have it with me when I go to the store.
It is work too, having to actually find what you
right. So what I like about the Get Upside app, and my sister-in-law kind of turned me on to this, like it's your everyday purchases, gas or certain. So they've added some additional places to the app now.
Wendy's.
Like, gas and different places that you may eat or have dinner or lunch.
So what kind of returns Wendy's giving back?
I think it was it 30%?
Yeah,
it was 30%. Yeah,
I knew you knew. Just
well, since they got rid of the pretzel burger,
it ain't no good for you. But like, what kind of because I know you said you cashed out, multiple times. So like, how was that looking for you?
I can't remember like how long it was before I cashed out each time, but probably a couple of months. But still, each time it was like $100 and some dollars. And I think I got $100 and some dollars sitting on there now because you buy gas, you have to have gas. So I always try to use it at the gas station.
Yeah. Man, if y'all don't have the app, go get the app. My link gonna be in the description. Yeah, my link gonna be in the description. But yeah, like as far as I'm saying, just kind of like just seeing the different things on there, and of course it's not applicable to all gas stations, but it's so many gas stations that it's like even food places the same exact way.
And they have added a lot more places than they used to have.
Yeah, so.
And what I like about it, you don't have to scan a receipt or anything like that. If you save your debit card or your credit card that you're going to pay with, it'll automatically, you check in when you get to the location and then you'll automatically get the credit. Because I'm not one to be taking a picture, scanning a receipt.
Oh, I got to contradict you on that one then. I think it's select places you go then. Because I actually went to a raceway, a lot of raceways, and every time they make you take a picture of the receipt.
Really?
You just pretty much capturing, the amount. I think it's showing like the last 4 digits of your card and the location just to make sure that's where you actually went.
Oh, okay. Well,
but it's still an easy process overall, though.
I usually do like a Shell or Circle K or something like that.
That's what I was about to say.
And it's like check in and, select which card you're going to use.
And it always tell you, too, you in the vicinity of blah, blah, blah. Like it give you a road map, so it's not like you running around with your head cut off or nothing like that. Yeah, so with that being said, what like 2022, what are some things that people can expect to see from you as far as personal, professional?
So 2022 is already starting off as a great year, and it's going to be filled with greatness. I'm trying to recruit. One of the things I'm doing, trying to recruit some additional people. Like I said, I can't be in 2 places at one time, so
you got a game.
Trying to recruit some additional people to the real estate business. I can't be in 2 places at one time, and it's a lot of business out here right now.
Yeah.
I mean, it is. It really is. There's more than enough to go around. So I'm doing that. And then I also have like a great team of mortgage professionals that I work with. One in particular, we'll be getting together real soon. Stay tuned for it. It's going to be awesome. I don't want to give all of the information away right now. You got to tune in to watch it. But coming next month, me and the mortgage lady, you have the top realtor and the mortgage lady, we're going to get together and give you some solid advice about purchasing homes, getting a mortgage. We're going to talk to first-time home buyers. We're going to talk about credit repair. We're going to talk about investment properties and all of those things. And then we're going to tell you how to get financed for those investment properties. First-time home buyers. You want to get a vacation home or a second home, we're going to tell you how to do it.
And I feel like, that's important or whatever. I feel like the most, important thing that you didn't mention was it's free. All you know what I'm saying? All they have to do is just
absolutely.
Tune in. Yeah.
Tune in. And then we're going to open it up for live questions.
Yeah.
And then we're going to start like a regular newsletter. We're going to have regular reoccurring tips. So yeah, you definitely want to tune in. Totally free. Best advice you can ever get.
Yeah. Put me on that newsletter.
Gotcha. Will do.
And like I said, if you kind of want to follow along with that, of course, I always put my guest information in the description, so definitely go check that out. Like I say, all the information gonna be in there. She going viral and stuff on TikTok. She did a little dance. No, I'm just playing.
Coming soon. Me and Justin.
Nah, ain't no.
You'll see.
Folks know I don't dance. But yeah, though. I feel like, overall, that's a big move. Like, so what, originally gave y'all, like, that idea? Because a lot of time, people always giving out free game. I mean, peep us. But, what kind of gave y'all that idea just to kind of, like, want to hone in on real estate? I know that's, like, what y'all do, but, I mean, obviously, you have other stuff going on, too, so.
So, a couple of reasons. For one, like you always inspiration to me. You always pouring into my cup, right? And then looking at what you're doing great things with the podcast. And I'm like, there should be a forum for me to speak to people. And this is true. This is not promo or anything like that. I just feel like the knowledge, sometimes people don't have the knowledge that they need about home ownership.
Yeah.
Sometimes people don't even try or think they can't get a home, so they don't even apply. They don't even, it's like, I think they feel like it's so far out of reach. And I've talked to a lot of people, and it just blow my mind to think that they think it's impossible, and it's not. It don't require a lot of money. You don't have to have a perfect credit score. One of my lenders that I work with, and I'm not, giving out a client's name, anything, but I was so pleased. We had a client that had a low credit score, like low fives, and we were able to get her approved, and she's closed on her home already.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's things like that that just really make my day. It's not about how many houses I sell. Yeah, the money is good. Selling houses, the money is good. But more importantly, it's about helping somebody. And then sometimes just to see the appreciation that people show,
Yeah.
it really do. Sometimes it just make my day for somebody to be like, oh, thank you so much, Crystal. You care. And I do. Like, I'll show... Just to know, sometimes I tell them like, oh Lord, here we go again with this or with that. But at the end of the day, I'll be like, oh, it wasn't so bad. But I'm the type, I'll show multiple houses, right? Because when I was looking for my home, I didn't want somebody telling me, well, you need to just pick one, or,
kind of pushing their decision off on you.
Right. Yeah. And I don't do that. I tell my clients, like, I got several clients I'm working with right now. Of course, this market is a little bit more difficult. It's very hard to get everything you want for your money.
Yeah.
But I do tell my clients, if you're not 100% sure about it, don't buy it. I want you to be happy with your home purchase. I want you to feel good about it. And years down the road, I want you to still feel like you made the right choice.
Yeah.
But I want to bring it back to first-time home buyers and people that think they can't purchase a home. I think they should just try. Call me. I will help you.
Yeah.
If you're paying a rent, you can pay a mortgage.
Yeah, I completely agree. Like I say, and then just kind of like hearing some of the prices, you'll really be surprised by what, how far your money could really go.
Mm-hmm.
And that'll really make you realize how much rent is. But, in a sense, like we had said earlier, rent is always going to rise. So, who's to say that because I know for sure, like with my apartment, I was kind of talking to them and they were like, well, if you would have came, such and such weeks earlier, and it was like a significant, like 100 and, plus difference or whatever. But I kind of just went ahead and, kind of took my lick in a sense because of the situation. I was happy about where I stayed. I liked the, property or whatever.
Yeah, very
But
nice.
You have to definitely look at the, the back end of it is like who is like in all actuality, who is paying, for this property. Like people always kind of like criticize bigger companies and stuff like that. And kind of like some of these write-offs as far as, of course, Jeff Bezos was in the news and Elon Musk and stuff like that, pretty much just kind of saying how these bigger companies will have like charities where they'll be so-called donating their money to, but in reality, it's pretty much like a charity through their company. And it's pretty much just putting the money in rotation, and also taking like salary cuts. Like pretty much, I know they were saying like with Elon Musk, they were saying like he pretty much had like no salary, for one of the most recent years or whatever. But he also had went back and did an interview and he was just saying how much he did have to pay in taxes. So, of course, like I say, with more money, you kind of come into reach with different people and stuff like that. And that's kind of where you want to, outsource and kind of get in contact with those individuals that could, get you those tax write-offs and do your stuff the proper way. Because I could just imagine, sitting there trying to manage $1 million company, or even I would say, 6-figure company, trying to do things myself and be like, dang, I done messed it up. I know the IRS coming for me next year.
Yeah, that's very important to have, like a good CPA, and then even a financial manager to help you, like, make good financial decisions, make some good investments and, be able to get those good tax breaks too. And not to keep harping on home ownership, but a lot of people don't realize either owning a home is a great tax deduction too.
Yeah. That's definitely important. Like I said, I feel like it's, important to kind of like be aware, because you always talk about like kind of how I don't watch the news. To me, it just bores me, and I feel like, the media is so flooded. It's kind of just like social media in a sense, people kind of putting out what they want you to see in a sense, because
True.
People don't realize, I believe, like I say, some of the stuff is true, but then again, a lot of it is kind of like pushed out stories, fabricated, and we all kind of know like people hate to say it, but money, money can get you a lot of things. So I feel like it's important, kind of just be aware of your surroundings and kind of things going on in the environment. And with that being said, if you kind of like in the stocks and stuff like that, it's like this week, it's kind of like everything. This week, last week, everything pretty much just tanked. So we always kind of talk about like some of these index funds and stuff like that, like the S&P and stuff like that. The S&P 500, where it's pretty much, a small fraction of pretty much 500 shares. And you pretty much, kind of getting a piece of all of them. And kind of just based off a couple of the pages that I follow on Instagram and just kind of like my personal, research, it's like of course you're always supposed to like buy low. So I feel like now is a good time to kind of buy in, because at the end of the day, despite the market being down, these products are still selling, like these companies are still running regular,
Oh, yeah.
Target still selling stuff, Starbucks still selling stuff, and I say that to just because they, one inside of the other. But even if you're looking at bigger companies, Apple still selling products, Tesla still selling cars. So,
Yeah, I mean that's one thing. The market fluctuates. There are highs and lows, and I mean the idea for me is to buy low and go long.
Yeah.
I don't like the quick trade, day trade, and I like to hold on to my stuff.
And that's important. Like a lot of times I feel like you kind of hit a key point with that. A lot of times people don't really like the long term, hold or whatever. Pretty much anything I go into, I kind of like to go into it with that long term mindset. Now don't get me wrong, you do have to kind of have some type of conscience to know when not to be greedy, because
Right.
you can't be greedy in a situation and pretty much be in the positive. And like we say, any profit is a profit. Like regardless if it's just, a dollar. I mean, granted, you always want more, but whenever you tend to get greedy is when you tend to, like lose the most. You mess around, go to sleep one night, and next thing you know, you messing with crypto, you go to sleep and
It tanked.
yeah. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I said, that's that conversation. But I feel like I said, it's overall like it's a lot of knowledge in it. You just kind of gotta, like I said, do your own research and stuff like that, and just kind of be aware of a lot of the up and coming things. Obviously, tune into the last episode. It's gonna be somewhere in this mug. So I guess the last question I kind of wanted to ask you, especially with us kind of like talking about all this information and stuff like that. If you were to kind of write a book, what do you think your book would consist of?
If I were to write a book, it would be it would include like real estate investing, but it would be more focused around first time home buyers. I would talk briefly about real estate investing, but first time home buyers. It just, and I can say this over and over again, it just amazes me how many people think that they can't buy a home. So it would be a lot of information to help people with credit and, growing their credit, because you can have money, and if you don't have credit, if you don't have enough to pay cash and you don't have credit, you still can't get it. Yeah. So you have to have credit. Not perfect credit, but it's important. Credit is important.
Okay. And when do you think I will see the mortgage lady on the Organic Mindset podcast?
Well, you have to ask the mortgage lady about that. But she said she would be willing to join you on the show.
Okay, most definitely. I feel like, definitely just kind of based off our conversation, I definitely feel like she could just add additional things and just kind of, continue to go, more in depth or whatever, because I know you kind of trying to hold back, don't want to, let out all the jewels or whatever. But I feel like, this episode compared to the last episode, like I said, we definitely covered way more, went way more in depth, and pretty much kind of like gave out, a lot of helpful tips as far as, different things people can do and just kind of like things of that nature. Yeah, you got anything else you want to tell the people before we close out?
Stay safe, take care of yourselves, make 2022 a great year. Much love.
And without further ado, man, we're going to wrap this episode up, man. Peace.